This is just a quick video acknowledging the third anniversary of the 2020 Cedar Rapids Derecho. I call it the Cedar Rapids Derecho because that was the main city that was hit. It was basically the equivalent of an entire metropolitan area of about 250,000 people being hit by an F2 tornado at the same time. That was basically what it was the equivalent of. Because even though it wasn't a tornado, it was this large windstorm with a damage path of about, I would say about 20 miles or so, hitting Cedar Rapids and surrounding areas dead on. It was a direct hit. And it decimated the town, and I think of the derecho as two natural disasters because there was the windstorm itself, but then it was about I would say like about 100-year storm, the kind of storm that happens maybe every 100 years or so. And I've heard of derechos hitting other towns in the area like Vinton and Washington, but not anything as big as Cedar Rapids. But like I said, it was basically two natural disasters because there was the disaster, the weather-related natural disaster, and then there was the human-related natural disaster of the mismanaged reaction to the storm in the vein of cutting down so many trees unnecessarily, including trees that maybe just had one branch hanging off of them and just cut the whole thing down. And this was a mistake that was made on the public sector as well as the private sector. People getting chainsaw happy and feeling like they just had to do something. And I saw it coming a mile away. I knew that was going to happen because I know what people are like, and I was dreading it. And it's exactly what happened. But I'm not going to dwell on that too much. But it's something that I will never forget and I will never forgive. But this video is mainly to tell the story about this star here. This was sitting out in my neighborhood for 2 years. A lot of debris from the derecho was actually not picked up, especially if it blew into an area that was not frequented very much, like an alleyway or, something like that, somewhere where people didn't go very often and people just sometimes didn't bother to pick it up. And this was in my neighborhood for, like I said, 2 years, and it was outside. It was all mangled up. You can see that what it is, it's a decorative metal star like people have on their houses and garages. And it was all mangled up and up against a brick wall and just sitting there like that for a long time. And I would walk by it almost every day. And I would have this vague notion like I should really do something about that, but for one reason or another I just didn't. And then one day, finally, in late August of last year, just after the second anniversary, I decided to pick it up, and I realized what it was, and I realized that it had a hanger on the back of it, and that it was still all in one piece, and it was a star, and it could be bent back into shape, so I did just that. I bent it back into shape. You can see there's a lot of paint missing, and that's from just the elements and being out in the sun for that long, and the paint chipped off. But I chipped off all of the paint that was loose, and I didn't repaint it because I think it actually looks really cool this way. You can see that one of the points, on the one on the right hand side, there's a little bit bent too. I left that the way it is because I think it kind of gives it character. But bent it back into shape and hung it up on my wall, and I call it the derecho star. And every time I look at it, I'm reminded of what happened. And I think it's very symbolic. And it's unique and cool. And I just wanted to share that with all of you. It's just kind of sort of my way of remembering what happened and also kind of making something good out of what happened, I guess. But anyway, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe as Captain Unusual. Usually my videos are lighter hearted than this. They're usually about like hobbies and DIYs and things like that. So subscribe if you're into that. If you have any interesting stories, personal stories about the derecho, I'd be happy to hear them. Other than that, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.